Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of PSL On The Mic, the City of Port St. Lucie's official podcast. So we are here today to celebrate an anniversary, or a birthday, if you want to call it that, of the Crosstown Parkway Bridge opening. It is 5 years old on September 28th, which is in about a week. And we're here with two people who probably know more about this bridge project than anyone in the city right now. We're here with Beth Zsoka. I did pronounce it correctly, right?
Yes, she did.
With Public Works, and Frank Knott with the CRA, which is the Community Redevelopment Agency.
Correct, yep.
Now, before we start, I want you to introduce yourselves, talk about what you do with the city, how long you've been with the city, but also talk about your previous positions, because that's the main reason why both of you are here today. So, ladies first.
Okay, ladies first. So I currently am working for the Public Works Department. I do community outreach for special projects and things that Public Works does. But prior to that position, I worked as a consultant, and one of my major jobs was the Crosstown Parkway extension. It was such a great project to be a part of. It was such a great opportunity. I got to work with Frank in the Public Works Department, and later I would come and obviously work for the city. But my role was to deal with residents, when they had questions, concerns, keep them updated.
Kind of like a grassroots type of thing.
Exactly. Construction was right there. Yeah. We wanted to minimize impacts and work closely with the residents. So I was able to meet most of the residents on the corridor. So it was really exciting, and again, such a great project to be a part of. So
yeah. Then we stole you for the city. It's a great catch.
Yeah, that was a great pickup.
Oh, yeah.
My name's Frank Knott. I was a project manager with Public Works at the time. I'm a project manager with the CRA now. But I've been with the city on and off for 28 years.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Yeah, so this is my third stint back. Was right as Crosstown was really getting going, with this portion of Crosstown anyway. And we actually met Beth in 2013 or 12 or something like that, because she was working on Indian Street Bridge at the time in Palm City.
Oh, yeah,
Veterans Memorial. And it's amazing how these two projects they're almost like sisters. They're twin sisters at that. They're very similar. So it was really nice to go down and see what they were doing down there. We were able to actually get the same exact team up here on Crosstown.
Oh, awesome.
Beth worked with the consultants there, the CEI, the bridge designer, the bridge contractor, and so it was really great. It was a great experience for everybody, the whole Crosstown process. I think we started in 14. I think we got you guys on board, in 14. And it was a long process, just the construction part of it, yeah.
Awesome. I didn't realize you worked on the Veterans Memorial Bridge in Palm City.
We did. We met city staff came to take a tour, because the projects are very, very similar.
Yeah, they look very similar.
Same
both
concerns,
bridges.
Same position, same length of the bridge. Everything is
The
very,
linear
very
park,
similar.
the bridge across the water, the permit challenges, they're, identical.
Wow. I ran a 5K over that bridge. I think that when they opened it, the day they opened it, or the week they opened it. So we did have a 5K for this bridge too. It went over the span. I think it was
afterwards.
Yes, it was afterwards.
After,
yeah. Cool. That must be the thing. Have a 5K over the bridge once you build it. Going back to the history, obviously there was a need for this bridge. I'm sure everyone knows where the bridge is, but I call it the middle bridge. There's the bridge on Port St. Lucie Boulevard, which is just a regular lower bridge. And then there's there's no bridge on Prima Vista.
Yes.
Yes, there is, over the river. But they're obviously just on the road bridge. They're not in spans or anything. So I call it the middle bridge. But any sort of iteration of this, the road or the bridge, it's been 40 years people have been talking about it. Go into the history a little bit. Maybe not into the weeds too much, but the major highlights.
It first showed up on the 1980 comprehensive plan for the city.
Wow.
Walter England, who the bridge is named after, started in around 85, 86, and pretty much spent his whole career trying to get this, we called it the 30s West, whatever at the time, roadway, before it got a name. But he spent pretty much his whole entire career trying to get that. Some of the history on it was when GDC filed bankruptcy, they actually deeded us about 1,000 acres along the river.
And that was about in the 90s, early
Somewhere in the
90s.
early to mid 90s. We in turn, because we were very cash poor at the time as a city, we ended up selling it to the state. And we actually reserved a right-of-way across there, about in the same location as now. With the deed, it has a reservation of a right-of-way on it. But when we got down to it, they didn't accept and acknowledge that right away. So we had to go through the whole process of the whole environmental process.
Right, I remember that.
We spent about 11 years on a PD&E study, the environmental portion of it. Really 11 years to the month, honestly, before we got permission to keep moving forward. But it was a lot.
But we didn't leave any stone unturned.
No.
I mean, 11 years of this.
And I think that's what the beauty of it was. We did have a permit challenge, and it cost us about 15 months in construction.
Yeah.
But we worked with every agency in the DEI book. What's it called? DE. Whatever that book is called.
Okay.
It had
I don't know what he's referring.
It had all the acronyms of everybody.
Sure.
And it was amazing how many agencies we worked with.
Yeah.
DEIS.
Oh, right. Okay.
And it was amazing how many agents. Oh, they were all included. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody was included. So we left no stone unturned.
Not just that, it was a really great partnership with the city. I mean, there were so many departments involved.
Oh, yeah.
This was the biggest project I believe that the city had done. It's
for
a
sure.
brand new bridge crossing, so that's a big thing to take on, and the city was fully ready to do that, and it was a great success. Really, everyone came together, and it's truly something to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And the road from tradition to, well, obviously US 1 now, but talk about that. The road was done first, the extension.
Yeah. So they started. I still think one of the first portion that they did was the piece over the turnpike, which was
Okay. Yep.
It relieved so much traffic because the school traffic was there. It relieved so much traffic, just that first piece. And so they were able to build all that from basically Sandia area all the way out. The developers built the western portions west of 95, Coulter and Core built those two pieces out west of 95. But until the bridge across the river happened, the bridge across the turnpike was the most important piece.
Right. I remember I used to live on Heather, and my running route was up West Virginia, and I remember having to change that when all the construction started. And then the bridge construction, the actual bridge construction, that started in 2017?
Started in 2017-ish, yep. And then we had that 15-month challenge too, yeah, somewhere about that. Yeah.
So it was 2 years, and it could have
was
been
like 30 months.
30 months,
Yep.
okay. And then the city got together and had that gigantic block party. It was a literal block party. And we were just talking about this before we started the podcast. I worked for the newspaper and was flying the drone that day with my colleague, and it was incredible. I mean, we were even waiting for it, everybody at the newspaper, just because it had been talked about for so long. I was there for 20 years.
Yeah.
22 years, and it was being talked about for like the entire time. So
A huge turnout for that.
oh gosh,
right?
it was amazing. We got great drone photos of just people walking across and biking across. It was great. It was awesome. So we know the obvious reason was to alleviate traffic. I'm sure you guys have statistics about how many vehicles actually traversed the boulevard and Prima Vista before this.
Yep.
I'm sure there were a lot.
So part of the whole process of this is you might not have been around long enough, but Port St. Lucie Boulevard was a 2-lane road for a long period of time. Then they widened it to 4 lanes, and as soon as they finished the 4-laning, they went to 6 lanes. So that's how much traffic was
Yeah.
continuing to grow. But up until the Crosstown was built, there was 63,000 trips on there
A day?
a day.
Wow.
And that's why you saw that huge backup from Floresta back to, because everybody came across the bridge and filtered to the north on Floresta, or most people, a lot of people
Right.
did. And that's where that backup was at in that segment between the Floresta and Veterans Memorial.
And what about
at the time?
Yeah, right. And what about Prima Vista? Same amount or a little bit less?
Vistas went up as well. They were at 39,000 before the bridge opened.
Okay.
So that's what was happening. They were drifting north and south, but we had most of the traffic because a lot of in the mornings, anytime in the mornings you go down, you see most people are going to Stewart, to South County somewhere.
Right. Now, what about today? I know we've grown significantly in these 5 years. So is it even possible to calculate how much traffic has been diverted from those two roads?
Yeah, so what's happened is that with Crosstown, now there's still about 55,000 on PSL.
How
which
many?
is a 55,000.
55,000.
Still a lot.
Still a reduction.
But we don't have that bottleneck that we used to have.
Right.
And then Prima Vista and Crosstown are hitting about 35,000 apiece right now.
Okay. I mean, I've seen a difference. Have you heard from residents about that there's been a difference?
We hear it all the time. People can't even imagine what it was like before the bridge. It's just become such a permanent fixture in the community, and really, we don't know what we do without. I mean, it crosses over. It makes the commute much easier for residents, whether you're going to US 1 or I-95. So,
and talk a little about the beauty of the bridge. It's really gorgeous with the park underneath and everything. And I think there was the artwork too. You guys might want to talk about how it looks beautiful. It's great.
So we used the Guy Harvey tile work or Guy Harvey image that we had, and we put that on the
shirts.
tile.
Guy Harvey shirts.
Guy Harvey shirts.
okay, anniversary.
Yeah, and we're talking about it's kind of like it's supposed to be like seagrass, right?
We have the columns first, and we wrapped that with the Guy Harvey image, and then
which is exclusive to the city. He did that for the
that
city.
Beautiful.
We own that image. The city actually owns that image. We see it on. We have a wrapped cabinet out here at Rosso and PSL. There's one of the cabinets that are wrapped.
Oh, right. Okay.
We have that image there. Then we put out the artwork to the public.
Interesting about the artwork. So we had several public meetings. The public was involved throughout this process. That's always very important to the city that we're communicating and allowing opportunity for input from residents. But we had a public meeting and residents were able to come, and there were 4 options that they could vote. And the fish option, which is what's there, you have these fish that are above a column, above the Guy Harvey art.
Right.
Pretty much unanimous. I mean, there were very few votes for the other ones.
Yeah.
The residents really loved the fish and felt like it fit with the community. And so we were excited because that's the one that we personally wanted. So
and
that worked out.
What about the park underneath? I know residents call it Pineapple Park because there's pineapples everywhere, but I think it actually has a name, right?
Initially, we called it Pineapple Snook Park. And then,
Snook because of the fish, yeah.
And then I think it was Plaza, though. I don't think we used the word.
Pineapple Plaza.
Park, yeah.
Okay.
So then I think it's Crosstown Plaza now. I think it's what the official name is. But
I've heard some folks call it Coral Reef Park because I believe that's the
Coral
road
Reef, right.
that's there.
Yeah.
And another great thing, I never noticed it before until I came to the city 4 years ago, was from a drone photo of the images down in that park. It's a snook. I had no idea because when you're looking at it, it kind of looks like a mishmash, and then you look from above and you're like, wow. And I think that was the point.
Really cool. Yeah. So. The initial design had that tucked under the bridge a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So we actually pulled it out. And then, I don't know if you noticed, but there's actually the brick pavers have names in them.
Yes, I did notice that.
So those are some of the residents that we purchased properties from, and also some of the consultants and contractors' names are in those.
Some of the key players.
Yeah, it's key players. And
What a great idea.
agencies as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great idea. Now, I know we had a voter referendum on this because how much did this entire project cost?
Well, so the whole project was in like $350 million. That's from end to end.
Right.
And the voter referendum was somewhere in that period of time. It was about $165 million.
Okay.
And it passed with 89% approval, so that was tremendous.
They know we needed it.
They knew, the public knew we needed it. As much pushback as we got, the public knew we needed it. And so that was really important. This last segment, all in, was about $150 million.
And that was the bridge part to the US 1.
Yeah, that's the bridge. That's hard cost and soft cost. Our environmental permitting, the utilities, everything, all in is about $150 million.
I know, and you talked about the 11 years where it I know because it's the savannas down there. Everything, it's protected.
Sure.
So I'm happy to hear that. It did take that long, and like we said, no stone was.
And we had mitigation projects that we had to build as well.
Yep.
That was almost $9 million worth of mitigation projects, which.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say it's unique because the city did those before construction started. Typically, cities wait and they do mitigation projects after, but in a good faith effort, the city of Port St. Lucie showed that they were serious about the project and they did the mitigations before.
It was a requirement before we could start on the bridge part of it. And if we would have waited until we got approvals, we would spend another 2 years out. So we went ahead, took the gamble, and we went ahead and built them anyway. And,
which included improvements at the Savannah Education
the
Center.
Education Center. We built a canoe launch on US 1. We built a trail up north of Midway Road through the campground up there on Midway Road. We built that. And we had regulatory mitigation, which was Platts Creek, which was an unfinished county project up on Oleander.
Oh, yeah.
And we finished that for them. And then we had
to
buy some credits for some mangroves. But yeah, it was about $9 million.
Okay. It's 100% worth it. It was. I love that bridge. I don't drive it frequently, which comes into my next question about the Super Street. Now, the Super Street, I think, is the only Super Street in Florida. I don't know how that's possible. Very first one. Okay,
yes.
So the very first one. I see things on social media. Not as often as I did when it opened, but it's horrible. I avoid that at all costs. But engineers say it does move traffic quicker and it's safer.
It's very safe.
Talk about that Super Street.
So I'm going to start, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Our engineers that were part of the design team, they have a base in North Carolina, and there are several in North Carolina and throughout that area there. So they actually introduced it to us. And if we would have opened the road with a conventional intersection,
like four-way stop,
it would have failed day one because there's just that much traffic there. And it's really not about Crosstown traffic; it's the Floresta traffic, because there's a great volume on Crosstown and minimal on Floresta, so it messes up at both ways. So this alleviated that issue. And Beth would probably like to talk about safety.
Yeah, well, and like he said, it's unique because we wanted to keep Floresta a neighborhood street. We're not widening Floresta.
And just like we got reader input, I'm still in the newspaper world, resident input about Floresta, we have to keep them in mind.
You can't have a residential street. It was and then with the distance from US 1, it really was an engineering solution to be able to make that area work, like you said. But it provides pedestrian safety, and it reduces, engineers call it conflict points. So the idea is, and we're, as a city, working closely with the Florida Department of Transportation on Target Zero, which is basically eliminating fatalities. Accidents are going to happen, but we don't want accidents that are going to cause deaths. So by this intersection actually reduces conflict points, which are the points in which you could get in an accident, but also a severe accident. So if you were to get in an accident, it wouldn't be as severe. It's safer to be able to make that turn and then be able to make the turn movement again. But what people don't realize in its perception is that you're actually moving through that intersection quicker. If we were to stack traffic, it would stack back on Floresta. And it would be hard for residents to get in and out of their driveways, which was a complaint that the city heard a lot. So we didn't want to back traffic on Floresta, but we have actually timed it, or the engineers, Reynolds Smith and
it's
Hills.
Always working on it too.
And so you're actually moving through. It's just because you feel that you're making that extra turn movement. Some people think it takes longer, but you're actually moving through that intersection quicker. So it makes it more efficient. And we've actually, it's different. It was a change, and we can understand that change can be scary, and people don't always understand it. But following the project, the people on Floresta specifically, they saw changes in their neighborhood.
I was going to ask, have you gotten feedback since then from anyone?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
And I think what helped, we ended up selling it. Once you take a high level look at it, it's really just a big oval about, like a big roundabout.
Yeah.
So I think we started putting that in people's minds, and they said, oh, yeah, I see that now.
Yeah, it's more of a roundabout with stops.
With stoplights.
Exactly. I love our roundabouts in the city. I live in South Bend now, so I love that roundabout there, but that's a two-lane
It's
roundabout.
all about safety and mobility.
Right, and
that's very important.
That's all that matters. Yep.
And then with Crosstown, I don't know if in 2008, they actually designed Floresta as a 4-lane road. It was ready to go.
Ooh,
yeah.
okay. I
So
can't
with
even imagine that.
Crosstown, that's before Crosstown,
Yeah.
I remember. So when Crosstown came up, they were able to reevaluate, see these traffic pattern changes, and they were able to say, Floresta only needs to be a 2-lane road, which keeps that neighborhood feel.
Yep.
The piece that's done, if you've driven on, I'm sure, it's nice. It's a slow-speed road, sidewalks and bike lanes.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So there are obvious benefits for this bridge. It alleviates traffic, but there's other benefits too. You were just kind of getting into that a little bit for pedestrians, and I'm talking the whole span.
This is a
Bike lanes,
multimodal
everything.
corridor.
Yeah.
Bike lanes. I mean, it allows the opportunity for recreation. We have workout equipment along Crosstown. I was going to say Floresta. But yeah.
Right there too, though.
Yeah, there is actually on my end of that.
But yeah, no, it's really a multimodal. It has linear parks. It's has beauty. It has landscaping. It provided so many things for residents.
And that's always in the forefront of city employees too, because we talk about mobility all the time, and that's super important to us, that we have different options for our residents and visitors, not just, you don't have to go everywhere by car. That Crosstown has a huge bike lane. The walking paths. I walk my dog there all the time with friends. I've never used the equipment, but maybe I should. But yeah, and it's a beautiful span. It's just gorgeous. I'm so happy it's in our city.
Well, the engineers brought to us the railing that's on the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
It's called a Minnesota railing. So,
Explain that.
well, it's just, if you look at it, it's not, the barrier wall doesn't go up so you can't see over the bridge. It has a little barrier wall, and then it has a rail on top of it.
Right.
So you can actually see
See
into the
down there.
river and the preserve. Normally, you can't see that. If you drive over Prima Vista or PSL, you really can't see the river.
Nope.
And you lose the beauty of it, and the whole thing is gorgeous. So
Yeah.
I got to do a plug.
Not a dig, a plug.
Because it also will feed the CRA area, Baltimore 1, which used to be, this is called the Civic Center.
Yep.
So it's going to pull right into there. We have a master plan for Village Green Drive now. So all this is just all coming together
And
now.
it's beautifully paved.
Yeah.
I was just talking to, the one we had the mayor on about the Village Parkway paving. People are so excited about
yeah.
that. They take
It was
photos all the
falling
time.
apart,
So it's all coming together.
Well, we had a lot of the businesses along US 1 that actually were repainting and stuff, very excited for the bridge opening, because it now allowed people to drive
Right.
past them.
Yeah.
And it really kind of brought new life to US 1 as well, I think.
Right.
Yeah. And the bridge project has actually won a ton of awards. Do we know some of those? I know there's a big long list. We don't have to go through all of it, but
We've won some design build
Yeah.
institutes. There's the locals and the nationals.
Projects of the year,
Project
we were
year, no,
best project, 8th place. So there's different people that provide the awards, but the Plaza also this year won.
just recently. Yeah.
Recently
oh,
won.
the Pineapple Plaza,
yeah, the
Coral
one
Reef
we were
Park
just
Plaza.
talking
Yeah.
about. It actually won an award.
Right. We won an award right out of the gate when we were still in design because the Department of Transportation actually had estimated $125 million, and we went through a value engineering process and knocked that down to 100.
Okay.
So we won an award from AASHTO, American Association of Transportation, something. Other.
Yeah.
Well, in the department, we were recognized several times for our innovation and being willing to take on the super street as the first in Florida. We're even on the cover of several DOT manuals.
Oh, wow.
So our project has really it really showed that the city went out there and did what we felt was right for
Yep.
traffic.
And at the time, there was the largest, it's called LAP, Local Agency Participation Program. So it's a funding mechanism. And we were the largest recipient of that LAP process at the time. I think there's more now that are bigger, but at the time, we were the first large project to have that run through LAP.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. I didn't even think about this until now, but is it done? Is the project finished? Is there anything else that's going to be added, or like updates, or just like refurbishments, or? anything?
So after the project, additional landscaping was put in. I mean, we're continuing to maintain.
Sure.
Landscaping needs to be corrected over time. I will say that Crosstown is not done. I mean, they're adding an extension in the Tradition area where Crosstown will eventually connect to Range Line
Yep.
Road, which I think
Good
will
point.
also help with connectivity. But as far as that project, we put what was in, so I think it would just be the maintenance of it, and
Sure.
I don't think anything needs to be added. It really has a lot of great features already.
Yeah, they recently added those driver feedback signs across the bridge so you can see how fast you're going.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did that about a year or 2 years ago, I
Okay.
think. But I don't know. I think they were looking at some additional parking there around the pond.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think
That-
that's
all right.
in the queue somewhere, but I'm not sure. Because we
That's
had so many
fine.
people walking that drive there to walk the bridge.
And isn't that the submarine park
Yeah,
there?
submarine.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't remember the
So-
name. I probably should know that.
yeah.
So to close out, before we get to our 10 questions, which I know Beth is a little nervous about because she forgot to look them over, but it's always fun.
It's fine.
What do you want to add anything about working together as a team, the city as a whole? What was your favorite part about this entire project?
So the city manager at the ribbon cutting asked me. He said, "Frank, who should I thank?" It was Russ Blackburn at the time.
Russ,
who
yeah.
should I thank? I said, "Russ, this was truly." Beth hit it on earlier. A citywide project. Everybody participated. Everybody helped out, and you can't pick one person or two people or
Yeah.
three people or even a department. There were so many people involved and so many had to be involved to get this to go through, and it was truly a team effort through the whole city, and of course working with the government agencies
Yeah, of
as
course.
well. Everybody was jumped in and on board and got this thing through.
Teamwork makes the dream
I thought he
work.
was going to say working with me.
Oh well, I forgot.
I will say that I don't think people realize all that goes into bridge projects. It's
Yeah.
such an amazing thing to be a part of. We took the opportunity throughout the project to put out videos, pile driving, all the different steps, so that people realize what it takes to really put in a project of this magnitude that's going to be here for a long time and is now the postcard of Port St. Lucie. It's on our website. It's used for brochures because it is such a beautiful thing, but it's also a game changer for traffic and for our residents. So it was wonderful to be a part of, to see it come together and the people. I loved working with the city so much. I came and worked with the city again because the people, Frank, is an excellent city employee, project manager. We really have a great group of people throughout departments in the city that work for the city. So residents should be really proud of the people that are trying to make a difference every day to make the city a better place. So, it's amazing and surely should be celebrated.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here and dropping all the knowledge that you know about this project. I remember when I approached Beth about it, she was like, "Oh, it'd be me and Frank." So it was very excited, and Jen and I have been wanting to get Frank on for a while. So happy birthday, Crosstown Parkway Bridge. Happy anniversary, whatever you want to say. It's probably the biggest project that the city has by far worked on. We just opened Pioneer Park and the port, and there's more great things to come. So it's a very exciting time to live in Port St. Lucie.
And Public Works is working on Floresta Drive, which
Still in progress.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that leads into Crosstown, and it's all part of that, improvement for that area.
And the third phase of that, I believe, is
And we're getting
quickly
ready to start the
approaching up to
third
Prima
phase.
Vista.
The contractor is working to wrap up the second phase. It's really beautiful when you drive through, and again, it has the sidewalks and the bike.
still neighborhood friendly.
Neighborhood friendly.
And just one more plug for anything that we do as a city is if we're building a road, we're not just building a road. We want to add those amenities as we can.
Yeah.
If we're building a stormwater pond, we're trying to get a trail around it. We're trying to build exercise equipment. Whatever it is, we're trying to make that more than just whatever it appears to be.
And we get resident input on everything that
for
we
sure.
do. So it's so important for us. So we're going to dive into these 10 questions. I tell our listeners and our watchers on YouTube, we always end this with our new guests. So the next time you guys come on, which I'm sure will happen, we won't have to do the 10 questions. But it's just a fun way to get to know you as regular people and not city employees. So I'm going to shoot through these real quick. I think Frank has his answers. Beth, take as much time as you need here. If you want to skip, skip.
I could probably answer them for Frank.
But they're probably, you work so closely together. So here we go. Let's go ladies first again.
Okay.
Beth, your favorite food?
Probably sushi.
Frank?
I like my sushi well done.
Frank likes chicken.
Chicken.
Anything
Chicken. Okay, yeah. Chicken. Anything chicken. How about your favorite movies?
Oh, that's a hard one. I don't know. Pass. I don't know.
I like the Jason Bourne series, the whole.
Oh, yeah. Bourne
whatever it is.
Ultimatum,
Yeah,
Bourne,
all those,
all
yeah.
the Bourne movies. Favorite hobby?
I'm a mom, so hanging out with my kids, I would say.
And I actually use this on my jury summons. When it came to hobby,
okay.
I go watch my grandkids play their sports, whatever it is.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
How about your favorite singers or your favorite band?
I like older music,
Yeah, me
like
too.
James Taylor, Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
70s
Yeah,
type
70s.
of vibe.
80, yeah.
All right.
Me too.
80s vibe.
Yeah.
Favorite book?
Which book are you reading right now?
Actually, I'm glad you asked.
I know.
I am reading A Land Remembered.
Exactly.
And you probably know because it is Jen Davis's favorite book and is also Brad Keene's favorite book, and I had never read it. And I had an inner office envelope last week with the book inside it. So I just started reading it. It's
So-
wonderful so far.
Yes, it's great.
Yeah.
When you asked Jennifer that question,
Yeah.
I answered it before she did, and I said only remember.
That's your favorite book as
Yes.
well. I love it so
It's
far.
an awesome book.
Yeah. Beth, anything?
Growing up, I read a lot of mystery stuff like Nancy Drew and stuff like that. Now I try to read like leadership books, like
Yeah.
start with the why. Why do we come here and why we do what we do, and make sure that what you're doing in life has a purpose.
Yeah,
So
like self-improvement.
yeah, so I like to
great.
read that when I have spare
You need
time.
to keep reading, Beth.
But
Whoa.
I like to read, industry things. APWA has a great magazine. What are other people doing? What can we learn from?
Sure.
I like to stay in tune with that kind of stuff because I think we can always learn and from each other what works, what didn't work, that kind of thing.
Better ourselves. That's what we're always trying to do. Favorite holiday?
Christmas for sure.
I don't really have one, to be honest with you.
Anything with chicken? Thanksgiving?
Anything
No.
with chicken. Thanksgiving would be a good one. There's
Okay.
food with that.
Yeah, there's food. There you go.
I like Thanksgiving.
How about your favorite places to visit?
I like to go to Anna Maria Island. It's a beach.
Oh, pretty. Yeah.
I've been to city of Tampa, been downtown many times. And in fact, we're going in October, so I would have to say downtown Tampa is my favorite.
Are both of you from Florida originally?
I've been in Florida since I was 7.
Okay.
So
you're
mostly.
mostly.
I'm originally from Georgia, so
Okay.
I moved to Florida after I went to college.
Okay. So pretty long time, though.
Yeah, so I've been here a while.
Yeah. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate?
Like chocolate with cashews or chocolate with brownie.
Okay. Nuts or
Either
some
one,
other
yeah.
tchotchkes in there. How about your favorite TV shows?
I'm going to Rockford Files.
You're going way back.
Way
I love
back.
it.
I don't know. I just don't even have time to watch TV
Beth's
these days.
reading
I don't
too
know.
much.
I'm reading too much, yeah.
Plus,
And-
you drove a Firebird, right? Can't beat a Firebird.
Whoa.
Rockford
Okay.
Files. No,
Oh,
Rockford
yes,
Files,
right.
right?
Oh my gosh. It's been a long time, Frank. Okay, last question. Your favorite colors?
Corvette Red.
It's specific.
I'm going to go with blue.
I was going to say blue.
I feel like blue is a public works color. We use a lot of
Okay, yeah,
blues.
that's
and,
right.
but I think blue is a great color.
It is
Everybody
a great color. I love
likes
it as
blue.
well.
So.
Beth, Frank, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
This
you.
was so much fun. I hope our listeners and watchers were schooled a little bit on Crosstown and how important it is and how tough it was for us to get it to come all together and how everyone worked together to make it the beautiful span that it is. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.